The birthday celebration just keeps on going around here, apparently. So my birthday was in May, and about halfway through May, I posted a video sharing a haul of my birthday loot. And I didn't realize at the time, but there was more to come. Some of this, admittedly, is not just birthday presents. There's some other things that I picked up, particularly for the Red, White, and June readathon. Plus, there are a couple of books on my Kindle that I just want to mention that I picked up along the way for one reason or another. So I do have a little bit of a haul to share. So let's get started. First of all, from Victoria at Hot Cocoa and Books. She sent me this book that has been on my TBR for a very long time as a music educator. And actually, this summer would be a great time to read it. Not in June because I'm really overloaded already with books that I want to read in June, but maybe in July I will get to this one and another one that I have as well. And that is A Touch of the Infinite, Studies in Music Appreciation with Charlotte Mason. A lot of Charlotte Mason's educational ideas work very well with classical education ideas. Depends on who you ask, I guess. But I personally find that a lot of people are able to go from Charlotte Mason to a classical education pretty well. And I think there's a lot of dovetailing ideology behind the two things. So anyway, I've been curious for a long time about Charlotte Mason's approach to music education. Now, this is more of music appreciation than actual music literacy education, which is personally my passion. But I do want to read her ideas about that because any way that I can get my students interested in and loving truly beautiful music, sign me up for it. I want to hear about it. So that's that one from Victoria at Hot Cocoa and Books. And then I got a book from Dia, the lovely Dia, and she ordered from my thrift books, which is awesome. I have an Amazon wish list, but I also have a thrift books wish list. Anytime that I can get a used book, that's awesome. This is The Music of the Spheres, Music, Science, and the Natural Order of the Universe. And I first heard about this book a really long time ago when I was doing my Kodály certification. Kodály is a pedagogical method of teaching music literacy, and it's what I do at work all day long. And in the course of my training, I heard about this book, The Music of the Spheres by Jamie James. And it's actually been kind of difficult to get my hands on it. It's not that old. It was originally published in 1993. So it's not like a classic or anything, but it's just not something that's widely available that you can just go pick up at the store or whatever. And also a lot of times when I found it, it ended up being a little bit more than I wanted to pay for it. So I have it on my wish list and I've been wanting to read it for a while. It is one that I think is a little bit dense for me. So I'm honestly a little bit intimidated by it. I'm not a scientist, and I don't have much of a scientific brain, but this book strives to look at music from a scientific perspective and to kind of meld those two disciplines. I am interested in reading it, and this would be an excellent one for me to apply the principles that I am learning in How to Read a Book by Mortimer Adler. Definitely going to be utilizing that and reading that book. And then Lindsay, she's on Instagram. I'll link to her below. She sent me a couple of books, and she sent me a little note saying, last time I got you also related, so I decided to go a different direction. And I love this. This is my second literary passion, which is the Brontes. Walking the Invisible, Following in the Brontes' Footsteps. And I'm actually thinking about, side note, so I'm in the middle of reading How to Read a Book by Mortimer Adler right now. And the fourth level of reading, which I'm not at that part of the book yet, but I'm curious about it. I'm curious what he's going to say, is syntopical reading, where you read a variety of books on the same topic. And I realized that that is something that I've only really done that ever with one topic, aside from music, maybe certain aspects of music. But the only other thing I've done with that in that way, read in that way, is Jane Austen. And I was thinking I would really love to tackle the Brontes in the same way, and I've kind of started. So I have read a lot about the Brontes. I've read all of their books. I want to read some of their lesser canon books, you know, I haven't read completely all the poetry or the Juvenilia, etc. Anyways, I want to read synoptically about the Brontes and the Brontes. So anyway, this works towards that as well. This is about the area in England where the Brontes lived, and just learning about them by learning about the places where they lived. It says, a little part of the blurb, along the way you will unearth the real settings behind the blustery hilltops of Wuthering Heights, the Gothic halls of Jane Eyre, and the Tudor manners of the tenant of Wildfell Hall. Discover the fascinating social and political history behind these iconic landscapes, and get closer to the lives and writings of the Brontes than ever before. So I'm really excited about that one. And then Lindsay sent me a copy from my Amazon wish list of The Music of the Spheres, because I forgot to take it off of my Amazon wish list when Dia sent it to me from my Thrift Books wish list. So now I have a second copy of this one, but Lindsay gave me permission to return it and exchange it for another one, which I have not yet done, but I will do that. And then these are ones that I just picked up along the way. This one just because it interested me. This is the second book in nearly perfect condition by Angela Thirkell that I have found in the wild secondhand. Crazy. I've never read this author. I've only heard her mentioned by some booktube friends whose reading tastes have a lot of similarities to mine. I know that she is a vintage author from the early to mid 20th century. Let's see, when was this particular one published? 1941. So I am really looking forward to checking out Angela Thirkell. This one is called Northbridge Rectory. I found, where'd it go? I can't find it now, but in one of my recent haul videos, I had similarly picked up another title by the same author. So I really need to just read them. And then for Red, White, and June, also it coincided with my free birthday book on Thrift Books. And so then it was like, you know, spend $10 or $15, whatever, I get free shipping, or buy 3 books and get the whatever. Anyway, I got a few things on Thrift Books, all related to Red, White, and June. So first of all, I picked up This Glorious Struggle, George Washington's Revolutionary War Letters. I was thinking to use this for the quill and parchment prompt for the Red, White, and June readathon. I don't know that I'll actually get to it. I do want to read it at some point. Maybe if we do Red, White, and June again next year. If we make it a yearly thing, I can put this on TBR another time, or for Epistolary January, that would be awesome. Either way, I am curious to read George Washington's Revolutionary War Letters, which is what this book is about, and it's in great condition. The pages are a little bit yellowed with age, but the hardcover is in fantastic condition. It just has a tiny little price sticker here, which I can get rid of. So that was a great find. And then I was also looking for books related to the prompt about faith. And so I came across this one that came highly recommended as far as being a book that delves into the actual faith of the founding fathers and what that looked like for each of them and how it played out in their quest for American independence. And so this one I'm really interested in reading, How Faith Shaped the Birth of the Nation, 1607 to 1776, by Rod Gregg. It's called Forged in Faith. And he has a couple of books along similar lines, came highly recommended from what I was reading online. I had never heard of him before, in particular writing about this space of the faith of the founding fathers, but I'm really interested in reading this one. And it's not super long as nonfiction goes. It's 200 few pages. So I don't think it would take too long to read. I don't know if I will get to it this June, but I do want to read that. And then this is like the coolest thing that I have come across in a long time. When I was researching books that I wanted to read for Red, White, and June, or that were intriguing me on the whole concept or the topic of the Revolutionary War, particularly when it comes to faith during the Revolutionary War, which I realized I haven't actually read a lot of books focusing on that topic, which is why I got that one. I was very curious about this book that I saw mentioned in a couple of different places. It's called A Curious Hieroglyphic Bible, or select passages in the Old and New Testaments represented with emblematical figures for the amusement of youth, designed chiefly to familiarize tender age in a pleasing and diverting manner with early ideas of the Holy Scriptures, to which are subjoined a short account of the lives of the evangelists and other pieces, illustrated with nearly 500 cuts. Guys, this is the first comic Bible. Okay, so my kids had, when they were young, and my husband had also when he was young, a picture Bible, which I will try to remember to find a picture of it and put it up here. My husband, I had never heard of such a thing when I was growing up. I didn't have it. But when my husband and I were married, he would talk about this as being he was not a good reader. He was dyslexic when he was younger. Well, I mean, he's still dyslexic, but anyways, he's overcome the difficulties of it for the most part. But he found it very difficult to learn how to read. And so the picture Bible that his parents bought for him was very instrumental in helping him to learn to read the Bible and to become very familiar with the Bible and the stories in the Bible. So then it made it easier for him to read the actual Bible. And so when our children were very young, we also got them a copy of the picture Bible as well. And I know that there are other versions as well, different kinds of picture Bibles for the same reason, being very visual representations of Bible and the Bible stories. This was the first one. And it was published okay, I say the first one. I don't know. There may have been one preceding it, but this is the earliest, oldest one that I'm aware of. When was it? Oh, okay. We got Roman numerals. I remember. I figured out these Roman numerals once. I have to figure them out again. Okay. 1,500. 1,700. 1,750. 60, 70, 80. 1788. 1788. This book was printed in 1788. So it falls perfectly within the range, the time range for our June Red, White, and June readathon. And it's the coolest thing. I am going to just do a little flip through here so that you can see some of what it is like. Now, this is obviously a reproduction. I would love to have like an actual old copy of this. In my quick search online, I was only finding reproductions like this one, reprints, modern reprints that are just, copies of scanned in versions of the original. I would love to have the original. I have no idea how much it costs, but that's it's the coolest thing. I love it. So I was very excited about this find. And now I will show you a little bit of what the inside looks like. And finally, I got a couple things on Kindle. Actually, a couple months ago, I actually won a giveaway on Goodreads. Never happens. I think, okay, in all the years I've been on Goodreads, which is a really, really long time, I have entered giveaways regularly on there. I can only remember ever winning one other giveaway on Goodreads, and that was for a physical copy of a book. I actually won a giveaway, and this time it was for a Kindle version, and that was not precisely Mr. Darcy Miller. I do enjoy Carolyn Miller's Regency fiction. I've started one of her hockey fiction, but hockey romance, but sports romance isn't really my thing. Contemporary romance isn't my thing either. So not that it was bad. I just didn't really continue with that and didn't really love it. But not because of the writing, but because that era is just not interesting to me or genre. So I do, however, love her Regency romances. And this one it's a contemporary romance, but I mean, it's obviously like an Austen retelling. And so sign me up. I will read an Austen retelling, or at least an Austen inspired story. Like, yes, I don't care. I'm going to read it. So I got that in my Kindle. And then I also picked up 2 books on Kindle for the Red, White, and June. I was like picking up all the stuff for Red, White, and June. I was so excited about it. And the 2 that I found, one I think was free somewhere, and one was like 99 cents. And those were 2 examples of the popular seduction novels of the day, which sounds like something other than what it is. They're kind of like morality tales or cautionary tales about young women who were seduced or betrayed or whatever by predators and what happened to them. And, it's usually a tragic story about that. And it's just really interesting to read about that sort of thing from that perspective of that era. And so I read The Coquette last month for my Reading the Classics Challenge in May. And then I heard about these other 2 books, and I thought that would be perfect for Red, White, and June, again, because it's written and published in that exact time frame. So one is The Power of Sympathy by William Hill Brown, and the other one is Charlotte Temple by Suzanne Rowson. And I will put pictures of those up here. They're just very similar stories along the same line. The other thing that I find intriguing is that these are almost always based on true stories. So I just find that really fascinating. I know, for example, The Coquette, the story was like, there's not a lot of factual information available about the actual story. So there's a lot of conjecture, and it's definitely fictionalized. You can't take it as a biography or a historical telling of the situation. You have to understand that it's taking the basic facts and playing around with them a lot. So I'm going to assume that these other 2 books will be very similar in that way. So they're fictional novels, but they are based on real people and real situations and things that happened. And so I find that very interesting. So that is the rest of my book haul for May. Finally, just now getting it filmed and posted, because May was crazy, y'all. Crazy. But anyways, here we go. We're in June now. It's summer. It's glorious. I love it. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books, which of them you find interesting, which ones would you be interested in reading, if any of them. Let's chat, and I'll see you next time.